What's not working? Can you do them manually over there on the far right? Yeah, I'll do them in post. Thank you.
For more than 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter in our community. From our studios in St. Clair, you're watching Focus with Paul Dingeman.
Well, welcome to another beautiful, beautiful day in Michigan and in St. Clair. We're glad that you are here. Lots of things happening. We've got a great event coming up at the end of the month, and we're going to hear about that immediately. And then Shawn Micheals is going to join us, and he's going to tell us about a play that Port Huron Little Theater has got produced that you'll enjoy with you and your family, and that's what we're going to do today. But let's begin with some friends from a wonderful event called Whistles on the Water. Mr. Dan Lockwood, Mr. Eric Cameron, nice to see you. Welcome both to you to the Focus Show.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Lockwood, number 12, did you tell me?
I did.
It's exciting. You never thought when you started it 12 years ago, you and Al Johnson and some other illustrious people, that it would get off the ground, so to speak, and blow some steam and have some fun.
You're right. It's gone a lot further, and I've learned a lot more than I expected at the beginning.
Yeah, you were an accountant kind of guy with a pencil and didn't know anything about steam and engines and boilers and stuff. You've had a college degree and you've got your doctor's degree in steam now.
I won't say that. Believe me, I don't. But it's amazing. It's not what you think it is. So,
give me some history of what has happened in those 12 years. A Reader's Digest version.
Reader's Digest. Well, as you mentioned, Al Johnson. Al Johnson and I sat on the St. Clair Downtown Development Authority, and we were talking about things that we can do in St. Clair. We came up with this idea of a steam whistle event.
And you went, a what kind of an event?
And the Farm Museum in St. Clair County did one at the end of August. So both Al and I went up and listened to it, and we talked to the people putting it on and asked them about. They had some questions, and I have to tell you, Al went to town. We found a gentleman who had a portable coal-generated boiler that was actually made for Henry Ford, and it was at the Henry Ford Museum for years. They sold it, and eventually he got it. He restored it, and he agreed. He was in Croswell. He agreed to bring it down for our event. And for the first 2, and I think maybe the 3rd year, we used that coal-fired boiler. There were some problems with it. Mainly, it didn't generate as much steam as we needed. So Al was thinking about it, and if you know Al, he likes a challenge. So he went out and he found a boiler. And he put the boiler on a trailer, and then he put a storage tank on there. Eric reminded me it was 1,200 pounds of steam in that storage tank, and we started to blow steam. Now, as I told you how Eric got involved, but I'll repeat it, because I just think it's amazing the people who live in St. Clair. You know, we all think of our neighbors and we don't realize some of their unique talents, and there are some people in this community who have some very unique talents, and they come and go, they do the work life, and none of us really know. We know them as a neighbor, but we don't really know who they are. Eric's one of those prime examples. The first time we got the boiler up and running, this boiler is inspected by the state every year. So we're doing our first inspection. The inspector comes in and he passes us. And then he calls back a couple hours later and he says, I'm withdrawing my certificate. And Al is panicky because we're a week and a half, 2 weeks away from the event. And next morning he's calling up the boiler shops in Detroit, and he talks to a person at one of them, and she says, you need to speak to Eric. And Eric says, fine. So they patch him through to Eric, and Al's talking to Eric, and Eric says, you know what, I think I can come over there. I think I can solve your problem. And Al's thinking, this guy's in Detroit, who knows where. And he says, no, we'll talk over the phone. He said, no, you don't understand. I just live a couple blocks away in that Florida. I want to say shortly thereafter, Eric showed up, and Eric solved all the problems. And so Eric has been a genius in making our boiler, first of all, to make it work. Because what we have and the way we use it creates some unique problems. And something that a typical boiler installation would not have. So Eric solved those. And then more important than that, he got us to safety-wise. And Eric has been very adamant on safety. So this is you're dealing with steam and your pressure. There's a lot of issues that can go wrong. And Eric has done his best to minimize those issues. So, I mean, I'm just going to tell you, we're really delighted. And one of the things which we wanted to talk about today is just some of the issues, so people appreciate what they're saying. Because our event is unique in North America. It's unique in the fact that the location, we're in the downtown area. It's unique in the fact that we ask people to bring their whistles. Most of the whistle events that are going on currently, it's done by a guy who owns his own whistles and he wants to blow them. Occasionally he'll let somebody else in. We also probably have, because of the amount of steam that we generate, and this is something Eric will talk about, we have more larger whistles than you're going to find in any other whistle blow.
So you have whistles, you basically, for the public, you went ahead, you got a steam boiler and has problems, trials and tribulations to get to the one you got now.
Right.
But over the 12 years, you've built an audience or a cadre of people that love to blow their whistles, don't have an opportunity to do that. So they come from all over the United States to St. Clair for this event, right?
They do. We've had one gentleman from California. We have a couple who come in. I'm not sure we were the exact reason, but anyhow, they heard about the event and they stopped by to check on it. One of the things you got to realize, not everybody who owns a whistle has a boiler.
Right, no, probably nobody.
And most of the guys who blow their whistle blow it on compressed air. And this is something I'll have Eric explain. But my understanding is when steam interacts with air, it expands. So there's more energy in the sound of a steam whistle being blown by steam than it is by compressed air. Now you have to be a purist. One time, we actually had somebody who came up, weaving out with a truck with a zillion whistles on it, and he blew on compressed air. And we happened to have the identical whistle on our manifold. So we just did a comparison between a compressed air, I think it was a 10-inch Crosby, compared to a 10-inch Crosby on steam. And everybody in the audience could hear the difference.
Before we get there, Eric, how many whistles do you expect this year's show?
I have no clue.
That's not the answer I was looking for.
Well, the reason I say that is we have a large manifold that can handle 20 whistles, and then with the way the boiler is designed, we can attach a couple more. So we can blow on the first blow, I think 23 whistles?
21.
Okay, 21 whistles. And then we have a small manifold, which we usually put down on the boardwalk,
right,
which I think can handle 6 or 7.
6.
The difference is the small manifold, we drop the pressure on there, so those are
70.
around 70 pounds. And the big manifold is 150 pounds per square inch.
Okay. So am I going to have 100 different whistles?
No, we've never had 100. We'll probably have, well, we don't know what we're going to have. We're hoping between 30 and 50.
Okay. For the people that want to write it down, it's September the 25th, coming right around the corner.
Yep.
From 9 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, all day Saturday. But you've got another edition this year that you've never ever had before.
Yes.
Then we'll get to Eric.
Okay. Because of the coronavirus, a couple things we're doing. One, there'll be no bleachers. So if anyone wants to come, they need to bring their own chair. Second of all, which we've done in the past, and it's really because of your help, we broadcast across all the speakers in Palmer Park. So no matter where you sit in Palmer Park, you can hear the whistle. And I will tell you from the people who are...
The story of the whistle.
Yes, you can hear the
You can hear the whistle
Yeah.
all over town.
Well, we'll get to that too, because that's the next thing is, so what I'm told by the people who are really into it is you're better off being 200 to 300 yards away, because the whistle will sound better than it does up front. But this year, which is with your help, we are going to be broadcasting on AM 1620, or as we call it, WOW Radio.
WOW Radio.
And we'll be broadcasting from 9 to 4 o'clock. And as you and I have talked, I am scared to death of this, because we have 7 hours of broadcasting time to fill, and I don't know what we're going to fill it with. But we're working on it.
That's right. It'll get filled.
Right.
But that's going to be a real boon to the whole event, because I can be at home 3 to 5 miles away.
Yeah.
From downtown St. Clair, where the transmitter will be, and I'll hear the description of the whistle I'm about to hear, or the whistle that I just heard. So that'll be really informational.
It's a new dimension that we've never added before, and like you said, it's a 5 to 6 mile radius, which most of the whistles should carry that far. Some of the smaller whistles you won't hear, but the
Right.
big whistles, one of the things that's interesting is the deeper the whistle, the further it carries. So you're going to hear they're going to hear the whistles, and if they're tuned to 1620, and by the way, I need to tell them, this is a radio station that we're bringing in, so if somebody decides to tune in right now, all they're going to get is static.
Yeah, it's a portable transmitter, which you have rented, and it's an AM frequency 1620 on the AM dial. And you're right, it's not going to go on the air till 9 a.m., probably 8:30 on the Saturday the 25th.
Right.
Okay. All right, so we'll come back to that.
Just one other thing.
Oh, maybe.
When we say we broadcast at 4 o'clock, we really try to broadcast, or to blow every whistle that's brought. And I need to preface it, every whistle that we think is safe to blow. Because
Okay.
we do a cursory inspection of every whistle. And it's important for the whistleblowers, if people have had people don't necessarily store their whistle in the best place. Could be the garage, could be the wet basement. If your whistle rattles, don't bring it. and I say that because we've had some that rattle, and we're like, you know what? Unless we can take it apart and find out why it's rattling, we're not going to blow it.
Eric Cameron, you've been very patient as Mr. Lockwood and I go through the history and the future, what's going to happen on Saturday the 25th. Talk to me about your background.
I got involved in 2011, as Dan explained. I've been much behind the scenes. Everybody else has been out front. I've been back trying to keep things running. It's pretty interesting. A lot of people don't understand the velocity of steam when we're sending it through the pipe and up the whistle. Normal velocity of the steam in the manifold, 6,000 feet per minute.
Let's, if the guys in the control room will throw up that first slide, the large steam whistle using 287 pounds of steam a minute. Maybe Eric can go through that for us and give the audience a little, there we go, it's up.
Okay, that's great. If you start lower right-hand corner, we need water to make steam. We have a feed pump on the system to feed water into the boiler because we're running at 150 psi. City water is only 50 psi. So we have to boost it. So we boost it up 20 gallons per minute, 250 psi into the boiler. Our fuel is #2 fuel oil. Again, in high fire, we go through 60 gallons in an hour. You know,
wow.
not very good fuel economy.
No.
We'll run between 300 and 500 gallons for an event.
Wow.
To do an event of #2 fuel oil. So we have flame in the boiler, make steam in the boiler. In the past, the boiler was pretty much connected straight through the accumulator. It was a dry accumulator, so it really didn't hold any steam. What we did was made it a wet accumulator and put water in the accumulator. Now we heat that. And we put an orifice plate in the nozzle of the boiler. So when you blow a whistle, we take a pressure drop on the accumulator, and we, for a short period, instead of having 5,000 pounds an hour of steam, we have 20,000.
Oh my God.
We'll take a 20-pound pressure drop. Our speed of the steam going out, 6,000 feet per minute, is designed, that's 60 miles an hour. When we blow a whistle, it's 12,000. So
Oh my
the
God.
steam going out of that whistle, and there's a picture we'll put up, is going at 120 miles an hour. Plus, it's at 350 degrees, so it's amazing.
That's absolutely staggering, because
Yeah.
most people standing there or walking by or bringing their children to hear the whistles have no concept of what's going on.
No,
And you really have explained it well here.
So again, the manifold, again, we've added so many things to keep it safe. Part of the thing being it's a high pressure boiler, every year I go through, and with the state of Michigan, we have to go through a state inspection and get it all certified.
Amazing.
And he has to sign off on it. You know,
Amazing. Amazing.
A couple of weeks ago, signed off that everything's up to code and meet all the current codes.
So the steam coming out is also hot, right?
350 degrees Fahrenheit.
350 degrees. Wow.
Yeah, cook dinner real quick.
Fellas, if you'll throw up those pictures that Eric brought, they're from the back of the boiler there. You'll see some great shots of steam.
Now everybody else has been right out front. You know, they're 30, 40 feet away.
There we go. That's a shot
I'm
from
right behind the boiler, 6 to 8 feet away.
Wow.
If you look at that picture, that velocity, if you look right at the bell of the whistle, that is really whistling steam up there. It's fast. That's what makes the sound so
Can
loud.
we go to the next one? I think they got to take them up and down. There we go. Oops. You got to go back to the next one. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one with 4,
4 whistles on that one.
and all different sizes.
Yep.
But the pressure's there. Wow, just amazing. Just
150 psi. Your typical air hose, you know, in your garage, maybe
Yeah.
70 to 100 pounds. If you ever had one of those come with it,
Yeah,
you know, it's a little tiny hose.
right.
We're looking, you know, 3 and 4 inch.
Okay, what I've got here is a whistle, and talk me through what's going on here. What happens?
Well, they call that a 3-chime whistle. If you turn it around, you'll see that there's actually 3 sections to it. So when it blows steam, there's 3 different notes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so when
One,
you pull on the handle,
2. I'm shooting at this camera here.
so
All
when you
right.
pull on the handle, that's a valve to let the steam out. We use that whistle on the small manifold, and that's a 3-note whistle. And
Oh, you got a note here, a note here, and a note on the other side.
right, so it gives you like a chord, like playing a chord on a piano or a guitar.
Wow. The whistles that I've seen at the Whistles on the Water event, are they all brass? Most of them?
Most of them. There's some that, again, parts of them will be cast iron or steel, forged steel bases and a brass iron bell. Obviously the horns that we have, which are horns, not whistles, where we vibrate a diaphragm with steam to make the sound, the big Wesley.
Over
It's a
the
combination.
years, you've had some real celebrity whistles, the Bob LeBoat whistle, other whistles like that. You had some? Did you have something from the Edwin Fitzgerald? No.
No. We've had the Columbus, which was
Yeah.
a whaleback boat. And since you just brought it up, this year's featured whistle is the Kalkaska.
Oh, the Kalkaska?
Iron, isn't it?
Pardon?
That's an iron whistle, right? Kalkaska?
Could be. I haven't seen it. So.
Okay. We've had a Kalkaska before, but the reason we chose this one was this is a boat. The Kalkaska was built in St. Clair at the Samuel Langiel shipyard.
Wow.
It was built in 1884, and the Samuel Langiel shipyard is where the sewer storage tanks are on,
Right.
on the Pine River. Mr. Langiel, this is a typical boat I mean, there's nothing unique about it. It's a wooden boat. It was built in St. Clair, but a couple things that Mr. Langell did that made him a little unique in shipbuilders was, even if he didn't have a customer, he would start to haul the boat. So his shipyard always had a boat in process. And he was, and as you can imagine, in the shipping industry, like every economy, there's ebbs and flows. So when it slowed down, instead of laying guys off, he would start a haul. And typically, he would find some ship owner who needed a boat and needed an agency, and guess what? He had a haul, and then he would finish it up to the specs of the owner.
Right.
But as you can imagine, sometimes he would guess wrong. And what he had was he had a gentleman in St. Clair, or a Captain Fish. And Captain Fish would bail him out.
Oh.
And he would buy the boat from Langell, and then he would sail it until he found a buyer.
Oh.
And you'll see, Langell only built about 30 boats, and I want to say about 10 of those were, first purchaser was Captain Fish. So that's what I'm saying. It really was kind of unique. It kind of shows the history of St. Clair and the fish building, or the shipbuilding. The boat sailed the other thing I should say is that Langell never put the engines in the boat. He would build the boat, and then he would tow the boat to wherever the engine would be installed. In this particular case, he towed it to Ohio, a suburb near Cleveland, put him in, and then the owner took over the boat. The boat sailed until in the 1920s, and then the engines were pulled and was used basically as a sand barge until 1932. In 1932, it burned in Marine City. So the boat started in our area, came back to our area, and then shortly after it was burnt, it was decommissioned. It was pulled apart, salvaged.
And the whistle off that.
And the whistle somehow got to the Port Huron Museum.
Oh, and so now you've on loan.
Yeah, we got a loan for this exhibit.
As you walk into the River Crab restaurant, there's a couple whistles. Are you
Yes.
going to have those too?
We are. We're going to be picking them up the day before. One I think is like the Kalkaska whistle. If anybody wants to see it, it happens to be on display at the library. Julie's allowed us to set up a little display so they can walk in and they can actually see this whistle.
Okay, very good. All right, so sort of wrap up here. Have we missed anything, Eric?
No, I think we're pretty good.
Okay. The big day is September 25th, which is just down the road here. But the new added feature is WOW Radio. Tell me about WOW Radio again.
Well, again, I should have you tell me, because we've never done this before, but we were really concerned about keeping people from clustering around the boiler. So what we came up with is a AM radio station, broadcasting station.
1620 on your AM dial.
That's right, number one in your heart.
Hits all the time.
And and it has a 5 to 6 mile radius, so our friends in Canada can listen to this, plus anyone around. So they don't really have to come downtown. They can just switch or whatever they're using to 1620, and they can listen to whatever we're broadcasting that day. I will tell you that, as you alluded to, we're trying to fill the time. We're talking to several people of things which we think would be interesting and things which really aren't talked about too much. And we're trying to stay to our theme of St. Clair and history of St. Clair.
Okay.
So we're doing.
Dan, you've done it again. You're an amazing guy.
Well, one other thing, we're always looking for people to get involved and help.
Right.
I'm getting a little up in age, so I'm looking for some of the younger generation to
Come and blow the whistle.
Yeah.
Get
involved.
The
with the whole
concept of
project.
it is so unique and so beautiful. It really is.
Well, it's a beautiful
Keeping
location.
the sound alive. If
Right.
we don't do this, it dies.
Right. Right.
Before we sign off,
Yeah.
there are several other things happening in St. Clair that day that I would like to mention.
Oh yes.
The St. Clair Art Association is reviving Chalk the Walk. So they have a number of students who will be doing chalk pictures, I guess, drawings on the sidewalks in downtown St. Clair. Because of all the activity in the plaza court or the plaza hallways. They will not be inside this year. They will be out in the sidewalks on the street.
Good.
So a reason to come down, listen to the whistles, look at the chalk art. Remind everyone that St. Mary's will having its fall festival that week, and so there'll be some things happening in St. Mary's that day. And then don't forget the summer concerts that we have on, and Alter Ego will be playing that evening. I think they start at 7 p.m.
Good. Busy time. Been a great summer all summer for the residents of the Blue Water area, and all the music that Jeff Bohm and his crew put together in the mall. And this just tops it all off. WOW Radio, 1620 on your AM dial. No news, no weather. Just all day whistles on the water information. Wow, what a deal. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Eric. These guys have worked real hard to pull this off and pull it together. So if you've ever had any information, questions about whistles on the water, tune in to 1620 on your AM dial on September 25th, beginning at 9 a.m. We'll be back with friend Shawn Micheals in just a second. Well, we are looking forward to this next interview because this gentleman that I'm going to introduce to you in a second is a wonderful, entertaining guy and very busy, and we are lucky to have him stop by today, Mr. Shawn Micheals. Welcome back.
It's been too long, my friend.
Thank you, sir. It's good to see you. You are looking wonderful.
Well, thank you. You're as lovely as ever.
But you've got a funny shirt on.
Well, it's very unique.
Well, it's got a lot of colors to it. It's sort of Technicolor.
It is. The amazing Technicolor t-shirt of our upcoming show, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dream Coat from Port Huron Civic Theater.
Wonderful. I heard a rumor
Yes.
that you and your bride are the directors of this program?
Yes, we are. We joined Civic Theater after they had picked a season, and this was one of the shows that they were looking for a director, and my wife says, let's direct it. And I'm like...
Wait a minute.
And I was like, wait, hold on. I said, I don't know. So we watched a movie version of it with Donny Osmond, who played it on Broadway forever.
Yes.
And I watched it and I said, there's no dialogue in this. Well, that's half the work done. So I said, okay, and we jumped on in it, and we just started production this week. It was delayed a year and a half due to the past year and a half events.
Oh, was there something going on the last year and a half?
There was something, but we're not going to mention what the name of it is.
Good.
But we just got it back on track this week, and we've got about 7 weeks or so to put it together. We got a huge cast of about 30 to 40 people.
It is a big cast.
It is, and it's a fantastic show, a fantastic set of music, and anyways, that's why I'm here.
What I remember of it is that you've got little kids, you've got adults, you've got a whole array of just wonderful, wonderful music.
Right. You know, it's based on the story of Joseph in the Bible, which we all know if you went to Sunday school.
Right.
And it's the story of Jacob, who was the father of Israel.
Right.
And he had all of these sons, and they were married. But he was always partial to his son Joseph.
Right.
Because Joseph reminded him of his mother. And so he gets him this wonderful Technicolor Dream Coat to show him how much he loves him. And things start not sitting well with the brothers because they don't get half the attention that Joseph gets. And then one day, Joseph finds out that he has the ability to interpret people's dreams. So people are going, I don't know what that meant. And he can go, well, this is what it means. And he's darn accurate at it. So he starts talking about he is going to be, his dream was that all of his brothers were going to be bowing and kneeling to him someday. And that's what breaks the final straw. And they take him and they throw him in a well and they sell him to some passersby as a slave.
Oh, I remember that now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in the Bible, it's actually a pretty tense story.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But a long time ago, when an investor came to Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice, two guys who went on to do absolutely nothing after that show.
Correct.
I think they took it as a joke and said, all right, let's turn it into a show. So it's extremely funny. It's a lot of fun, and it's got all kinds of varieties of music from calypso to country. Even a little bit of Elvis is in there.
That's right.
And it's one of the best soundtracks, one of the most uplifting stories. And again, it's for everybody. You know, kids can come see it. We have kids in the show. We have seniors in the show. So we're encouraging everybody, congregations, youth groups, Sunday schools, everybody come on out because we're doing this for one weekend only.
Okay, what kind of performance schedule?
We're looking at October 8th, 9th, and 10th. That's a Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday. The Friday, October 8th is at 8 p.m. That's our opening night. Saturday, October 9th, we're doing 2 shows, a 3 p.m. matinee and an 8 p.m. evening show. And then Sunday, we wrap up with a final matinee at 3 p.m.
Theater is alive and well in St. Clair County.
You couldn't understand how bad it was for some of us to be shut down. Some of the groups, and I'm friends with everybody. The Barn Theater was shut down because of obviously the size of the barn.
Right.
ESR was shut down. The Riverbank was shut down. But then everybody really started digging into information about how to keep going. And I know Riverbank took some shows outdoors in the park.
Yep.
ESR figured out how to do Zoom shows online. So you had 18 characters on screen in their squares, basically doing a character reading. But it was still, they figured out ways to keep going, and so now we're finally back on it. We just finished up Crybaby the Musical about 2 weeks ago, which went fantastic, and everybody is just ecstatic to be back on stage, singing, dancing, and having fun.
And the public is thriving, or really searching for it. It's
Yes,
really,
it is.
It's been a need that hasn't been filled in such a long time. Obviously, the Vertons are going to do some things here in St. Clair, building a new theater, which will help the whole array of entertainment possibilities.
Bring even more people in, because it's a wonderful, I call it the circuit, the Blue Water Circuit, because we have so many theaters in the area, small groups, big groups, that there's literally a little bit of everything for everybody.
Okay. How do I get tickets?
You can call McMorran at 985-6166, or you can go online to McMorran.com. You can order your tickets online now if you like, or you can order them over the phone with your credit card. It's very easy.
Okay, you selling shirts?
I do not know that yet. I don't know that yet, but it's quite possible. If it were up to me, P.T. Barnum of St. Clair County, I'd be having T-shirts, I'd be having hats, I'd be having socks and underwear.
And a cigar once in a while, too.
That's right. It's going to be a wonderful show. You're going to love it.
All right, let's go through the dates again. It's October 8th, 9th, and 10th. There's performances on Friday and Saturday nights. There's matinees on Sunday. And Saturday and Sunday.
And it's one weekend only. We really want to stress that. So if everybody wants to get everybody from church coming out, you got to do it. So you know what? If you get out of church on the 10th, bring the whole congregation. Bring all the kids. It's a wonderful show.
And you get a blessing from the pastor for bringing him to the show.
Maybe we'll have him bless the show.
There you go. His name is Sean Micheals. He and his wife are the producers and directors of Joseph and the Amazing Dream Coat, coming up October the 8th.
Technicolor.
Technical. I keep forgetting that word.
How dare I correct you on your own show?
Technicolor Dream Coat, October 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Thanks for watching Focus with Paul Dingeman. Focus is produced at the CTV Community Television Studios in St. Clair. For over 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter to our community.